Yo, it's your boy Jan Albatross here again with the Cypher Unlimited crew. We have our usual suspects of Alpha Dean or AD or just simply Dean. We have Spigs 18 or Anthony. And Dean, why are we having this nice special stream today?
Happy anniversary, guys. It's been 2 years. And you know what? That's what we're here to talk about. We want to give thanks. We want to, give shout outs to all those people who made it possible, past, present, and future. And just talk a little bit about where we're going to be moving forward to. So, happy anniversary, guys.
Happy anniversary!
Woo! Hey guys, if you don't know, we're the CU, Cypher Unlimited. We're a small part of a massive community of gamers that all love Monte Cook Games, Cypher System, and all their settings, and not to forget Invisible Sun. I can't believe it started 2 years ago, so I guess we'll just start off with how did this all get started? Like, what's the Cypher Unlimited origin story?
Yeah, I mean, it's the community has grown so great and so nice and amazing. But we had pretty humble beginnings, very humble, in fact. And the reasons for us starting the community were, I've heard Anthony describe it as such, but it was almost selfish. We just wanted to have a place where we could, meet up with other people who like Cypher System and just play together. Just have a group of players and GMs and people who got together to game and were friends, and kind of blew up a little bit from there. But Anthony,
I think first off, we were on another Discord server that was multi system Discord server, and we started a Cypher System room in that server, and we noticed that we had maybe about 30 or 40 dedicated people that would come and play our games. We would play their games, and we had this little micro community on this server. And we noticed that there was way too much toxicity, not because of the people that run the server. It's just that when you have multiple systems, it creates arguments and
wars.
Yeah, division.
Pardon me.
And it just wasn't fun anymore for us. So I think I was at Al's house, and we were playing. We might have been playing like Magic the Gathering or something, and we were like, "Hey, why don't we just start our own Discord server?" And then
it sounds about right. Yeah, I think he was at my house one day. He had come over from Magic.
Drafting or something.
Yeah, we had maybe drafted with a couple of friends of ours. And then we had the idea, why don't, at the end of the day, when he goes home, he lives closest to me, so I think he was taking a Long Island Railroad home or something, and I usually just walk with him and, we chat while we wait for the train. So I think we were talking about, let's start our own thing, it'll be easy, I told Anthony, it'll be easy, it's so easy to set up a Discord server, it's not gonna be a big thing, we'll maybe have 20 people, that's how I describe it, it'll be so easy to set this small little community up, and yeah, I don't, if I could go tell past me how wrong his mindset was going into this, it's kind of crazy.
The funny thing is, so we started this server, right, and there was maybe about, I want to say 5 or 6 people on there, and we were kind of a little bit known on Roll20 as being like the kooky one-shot guys. So we managed to round up the 5 or 6 people that actually played with us consistently on Roll20 and on the other Discord server to follow with us. And our original mod, Jen Kitty, came from that server as well. And we were like, hey, this is really cool, but we want to get more people in the community involved. And so we went, technically our anniversary was 2 months ago, but we didn't count the original first 2 months because it was more like a small community server. There was maybe about 10 or 15 people. So then I was talking to Al and I said, you know what, we really should advertise this. And Al and Dean know I'm when I say I'm gonna do something, I push it to the point of where I'm annoying. I'm like, nope, we're gonna advertise it. So I told Al, start writing up messages, and he wrote something on the Numenera subreddit. And this was when Google Plus was out, and I started spamming all the Google Plus sites with like, hey, we got this server, come join. And yeah, and that's where I met Dean from Google Plus, I believe, or Facebook.
It was like a combination of both.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell him when we get to that fire.
But I think we also posted it on the Cypher System gaming Facebook page.
Yep.
Yeah. That was one of the other places.
Didn't Monty Cook Games respond to you on Reddit? Was that the first place they responded?
Yeah, I mean, we did have some activity on Reddit. I forget if it was on the Numenera board or the Cypher System board, but one of our earlier, we got promoted via Reddit. I forget which board it was, and I believe the Monty Cook Games Reddit account made a post about us on one of those boards, and the rest, it just snowballed after that. Like, we went from having like
25 members.
And it quadrupled in size in maybe 2 days or something like that, and it kind of got out of control once we had the support of Monty Cook Games.
And I remember because it was kind of crazy to me because I saw Anthony hit us up on the Cypher page on Google Plus, and I'm like, Discord. I got Discord, but I never used Discord. And then I was like, then I went over to All Things Cypher on Facebook, and he was there again. So I'm like, let me hit this dude up.
Yeah. First of all, I apologize in advance to everyone that had any sort of sites because I was literally spamming. Because I was spamming everywhere.
But the coolest thing about it was that Anthony he responded. That's what got my attention. Because I sent him, I'm like, so what is this Discord thing? And he's like, well, here, check it out. And I hopped over, and it was like crazy because this was like September, and there were like 75 people on the site, 75, 80 people. I'm like, hey, I love Cypher System. I'm not playing D&D anymore. Why not? And the next month, October, Halloween was coming, and I talked to Anthony, and he was like, I'm getting ready to run a one-shot. Children shouldn't play with dead things. And that just was like a great adventure. I felt a kindred spirit. We got to talk and realize that we had a lot in common. I've been playing forever. Anthony had been playing for just about as long. If he had been as old as I am, he probably would have been playing as long. Mm-hmm. And the next thing I know, these guys are like, hey, dude, you're a part of this. You're family, So I got 2 little brothers and great business partners and an awesome community. Cypher Unlimited. I watched Cypher Unlimited go from about 75 members to this, 2,600?
2,700.
2,700. So we're knocking on 3,000 members' door in a 2-year period. That's pretty doggone awesome, if you ask me.
From my point, like when I met Dean, right? It was sort of like a kindred spirit. I met like my older brother just by talking to him, and I don't know, we just clicked and related immediately. We went from gaming together to talking to each other on the phone almost every day. And then I remember talking to Al like, hey, I think we should put Dean involved in this. We should get Dean involved in this. And I nagged him, and he eventually relented and was like, okay, fine, whatever, shut up.
I do recall Anthony's persistence. It's honestly, in my mind, the thing that kept me from really saying it was a long dialogue. There was honestly it did take a long time of talking about it, and I honestly forget the words I was using to say, let's talk about it, let's think about it, blah blah blah. But in my head, I think it was more of like a subconsciously, like if I say, hey, let's accept Dean or whatever, that's admitting we're like growing into this actual thing, if that makes sense. And that's just such a wild thought to me. It's still a wild thought to me. But I think that's where that initial hesitation came from. Was just if we like subconsciously again. I never thought about it before. Now you mentioning it, I imagine it's just that if once Dean got on board, it was more like we're actually doing this full blown like actual thing now, and it's kind of crazy.
And then, while all this was happening in a matter of weeks, membership count just started skyrocketing and skyrocketing. And before you know it, it was like 2-3 months in, we had over 500 members. We did a raffle. We contacted Monica Games, and once again, they were awesome, gracious, so loving, you cannot believe the support. They gave us a ton of stuff for giveaways. Me and Al went and brought a ton of stuff, and we learned our first valuable CU lesson. Shipping to Australia is freaking expensive.
Yes, because one of the winners of the first, was it the first or the second round? I think it was the first round.
The second round.
Was it the second one?
We had two winners. One went to England and one went to Australia. And I was like, at the time I was talking to Al like, oh, this is so awesome. We got all these international winners until I went to FedEx. And that was a $50 book was like $160 shipping. And I was like, what the hell?
Exactly. It's crazy.
Hey, that was an important lesson that day.
Real quick, I don't mean to interrupt the laughter and the memory, but I just wanted to say a quick shout out to our people who are viewing us right about now. Brilliant Loser, I'm so happy you saw one of our vids and you bought the Cypher system and you're still sticking with it. So that's awesome.
Love to hear
that. By the way, guys, that's Jesus from our horror game, Brilliant Loser.
Oh, okay. What's up, Jesus? Great. And, well, we all know who Spanglemaker is. He's one of our latest mods. He's across the pond.
Ali.
Speaking of mods, though, we can give the Cypher Unlimited wouldn't be where it is. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Dean. But Cypher Unlimited would not be where it is without our, I hesitate to call them staff, but our support system of our mods.
They're definitely not staff, they're family.
Exactly. That's why I hesitate.
Our extended family.
There we go. Our support, our family of the Golden Ones, whether they be past or present. But yeah, our previous, we had Golden Ones who are no longer Golden Ones, but even, they proved very helpful in our formative stages. But we have the fabulous Jen Kitty. I don't know if you're watching right now, but you're awesome. Still awesome. She's still on the server, still greeting people, which is A+. Brendan, another good friend of ours, awesome fellow. I think he went by Reptile. Yeah, Reptile on the server.
We love you, Brendan.
And another golden one who left us recently, Steven, also another awesome gentleman. Very creative fellow.
Excellent content creator in his own right.
Yes.
That's right.
Has created tons of stuff like Bug Hunt. I forget the name of his Olympia stuff. Pantheon. There we go. Pantheon. Really, really nice setting stuff. And then we can move on to our current golden ones. The ones you have, if you saw our last or one of our, I think it was like 2 or 3 streams ago, our little game where we introduced everyone as a big family and we played a game together for the first time. But yeah, so those golden ones are Shar, the lovely Shar. She's on the server.
The queen of the golden ones. We bow down to you, Shar.
She's awesome. We love her so much. Yeah, she's fantastic. A+.
Hold on. First of all, let's just say how we would not function without Shar. Shar is absolutely the queen of the golden ones.
And she also is a awesome layout person. They have a great little business out there. Yeah. So
and they did our logos.
Our redesigned logos and everything.
Yeah,
so always a great resource.
I believe they go by Erg regardless. I'm always bad at pronouncing that.
Irregardless.
But we'll be sure to get a link for you guys for their stuff because again they do also her and her husband. We should specify. Yeah, Rob. Yeah, Rob.
And then there's Spanglemaker, otherwise known as Ali.
I believe he's in the chat right now as well. So what up, Ali? How's it going, bro?
And
Ali.
808, normally known as, I believe, is John, and I think that might be you over there too, right?
Yeah, that's Johnny Z. Yep, that is Haplo.
All right, so Haplo. So we got our people out there. Just want to say again, thank you all.
You know,
we couldn't do what we do without you. I mean, it is pretty awesome. This community is phenomenal.
yeah, with a server this size, to have three people so dedicated to make sure that it's running smoothly, to make sure that everyone is following our rules. We basically have one rule: be nice to each other, and be accepting of everyone. And they make sure that those rules are followed. And we love every single one of you guys. You guys are all awesome, and we can't say enough great things about you guys.
Most definitely. And I was gonna say, on top of their dedication to the community, they are awesome role players. It's definitely very fun playing with them. You gotta throw that in there.
I gotta throw something else out there too. Anthony made a cool reference today when he was putting out the media blast to get some traction on this stream, and he called us the Voltron of the Cypher community, which is pretty awesome, because I don't know if a lot of you know it. Most Americans are, I know a lot of people who aren't into anime don't realize that there were actually 3 Voltrons. There was the Voltrons that had the cars and all of that. There was the Voltron with the space lines, but then there was actually a Voltron that was formed by 3 individual robots. So, just kind of worked out cool that he made that reference. So now I guess we're gonna have to run a Voltron game, guys.
I mean, I'm down. I didn't know that there was an iteration of Voltron with 3. I only know the popular 5 formation.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool, though.
I'm an old anime guy, so I know lots of the older stuff that people have fallen in obscurity. So.
Oh, we have quite a few people in the chat now.
Yeah, sorry, I made a cut you off.
I was going to say welcome to all the newcomers that just jumped into the chat. Happy to have you here. We just reminiscing about how Cypher Unlimited got started.
Rick Davenport wants to know if you're really a robot, Anthony.
I was gonna say that's what I was gonna bring up.
I run on Mango.
Oh, it's Gonza, hey Gonza.
Chris,
you joined up. But yeah.
Speaking of which, with the growth of our Discord server, we came up with the crazy idea to start a YouTube channel.
There we go. Perfect segue.
If you haven't, please subscribe and join. We discuss all things Monica Games. We do interviews. We do editorials, and it's been a fun
actual plays.
And now we do actual plays. It's been a fun ride. The YouTube channel is almost as old as the Discord server. It's maybe a couple of months a couple of months after we started the Discord server.
Yep.
But if you want to hear 3 idiots, which we all talk about gaming, talk about Monica Games, talk about Numenera, talk about Strange, that might be the YouTube channel for you.
Most definitely.
Welcome to the world. It's Steiner. I see that you were talking about how you just got in the asset team. Asset team is great. Darcy is a wonderful, wonderful resource. Guys, if you're not part of the asset team, join it. It's also another awesome just feature of the Cypher world in general. So,
but another just tidbit about why did we start a YouTube channel? I remember I don't know, I wouldn't say several years, but a few years before Cypher Unlimited, before we started playing Cypher System, Anthony wanted to do something about role-playing games for YouTube. I think he wanted to call it Rotten Apple Gaming or something like that. But the thing is, my love for role-playing games was very minor at that point. I had an interest. D&D was interesting. I enjoyed playing it, but it wasn't a passion. I didn't have that love of it. But when he introduced me to Cypher System, my love of role-playing games, he could tell you, it changed. I was talking about it all the time. I wanted to know when we were going to game, what new games I could come up with, blah, 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 blah. I just couldn't, it just was on my mind constantly. So once he brought it up, hey, maybe we should do a YouTube for, Cypher Unlimited, I was like, yeah, why not? I always want to talk about this stuff. Let's do it. Even though I'm not the most knowledgeable person usually, I still do enjoy talking about the topics at hand.
I mean, okay, dude.
I was just going to say, the beautiful thing about that, Al, is that a lot of times it's not so much about being knowledgeable, it's the passion. That makes so much of a difference.
I'm
You
all
know,
passion.
but that's what I'm saying. Let me to give you put it in perspective. I've been doing this gaming thing since 1977. Yeah, I'm dating myself. I don't care. But I've been doing it since 1977, and I had gotten to a point that I had become, I guess you could say, a little bit jaded. I wasn't, as I loved my role playing games. They were an escape. It was a creative medium for me, but I just wasn't feeling it the way it did at one point. With all the excess, like Anthony was talking about, the toxicity, the addition wars. Just all of that was just too much. And in 2013, I found Numenera, and I didn't know how special it was when I first found it, but it was something about it that just kept drawing me back to it. I read the book like 4 or 5 times. Never got to run a game. I didn't run a game for almost a year, and I finally got to run a game, and it hit me. It was, and that's when the paradigm shift started happening for me that I always talk about. And that's what Monty Cook Games did for me. They brought that passion back. I feel like that, 10-year-old kid who got his first, white box set. I do. I feel like that. I mean, every time I go grab my book, or I pull up the PDF, I'm sitting there like, it's so awesome. So yes.
I was gonna say that the whole thing with me is I think I did it for selfish reasons. It's like what you said, Monica Games is an awesome company, but all the content creators and the people involved, either Twitch streaming, YouTubing, Cypher Creator Program, all those people are just podcasters. All those people are just awesome, and I needed an excuse to be able to talk to them. So, to be honest, and I think the original concept of our YouTube show was just basically to do interviews with all these people that I was admiring from afar, but now I had an excuse to actually email them and ask, start a conversation with them. Like, hey, I'm doing this YouTube channel. You want to be interviewed? And I got, we got to meet so many great people. And I think, since it's our 2-year anniversary, I think we should acknowledge everyone that helped us by, first off, taking the time of their busy schedules and their days to actually sit down and chat with these 3 idiots, not to promote us. So, let's just go over all the wonderful people we got to sit down and interview and discuss Cypher System with. I'll lead it off.
It's a long list.
This person is probably the most influential in Cypher Unlimited. He's probably an honorary member. Christopher Robert Neglin from Gonza Gaming. Dude, you have no idea how much you mean to us. We love you, dude. Chris was with Cypher Unlimited practically from the very beginning. He's been on our show several times. He's probably been on at least 3 or 4, and he's gonna come back on again because he's a vast wealth of knowledge of gaming, and we just love the guy.
Yeah,
Chris is also an awesome content creator. If you don't have his products, please go to Drive-Thru RPG, look up Gonza Gaming, and look up his library. It's pretty awesome.
Gonza, since you're watching, feel free to post the link in the chat. I don't want to take the time to go look for it, but I'm not gonna. I think I have link posting enabled, so go ahead and post that. Drop that link.
And we'll definitely add the link when we convert it to YouTube for sure.
Yep. So yeah, definitely, check out his stuff. Very awesome. Good inspiration for lots of different settings. He has a fantasy one. Mortal Fantasy, I think it's called. I'm bad at names. Sorry if I messed up.
Yeah, Mortal Fantasy, Cruel Stars.
Yeah, Cruel Stars. Yeah, the sci-fi one.
And at one time, I could be wrong, but didn't Chris have like half of everything that was on the Cypher Creator Program?
It probably was. He had like 18 products before anybody else had anything. Just like ridiculous.
That he was a beast.
very quality stuff too. He's not just churning out things just to churn them out. Like they're quality.
No. It's actually quality. One thing anybody who gets to know me will know about me is that I'm not going to give credit where I don't think is due. And this guy is awesome. Grant Gonza is pretty awesome. But speaking of that, segueing. Anybody got anything else to say about Gonzo right quick?
I mean, he's an awesome dude. You know,
All right.
look at his stuff, and yeah, well, check out that link he posted.
I'm just gonna go out here, out on a limb. You know, I found out that I had, you know, a son out there in the world that I didn't know about. You know, but you know, he gave me a cool title. You know, he told me I was his father in gaming. You know, he called me the Aslan of gaming. So I thought that was pretty cool. None other than Grant Ellis, who's also been a plethora of advice and just educational information and a great supporter. You know, he was one of our first interviewees, and he's been awesome. He's been an awesome resource. You know, so if you're out there, Grant, you know,
he currently has a 5e supplement on adventure setting on Kickstarter right now called Grim World, I believe. If you haven't check it out on Kickstarter. Not only that, he's one of the I would say he's probably one of my top 5 greatest GMs of all time. I enjoy all his streams. The guy is so talented. Doesn't matter what the system is. You know, Grant's going to bring it every time. The bad boy of gaming.
As he told us, we're the street team.
Yeah.
We are
he affectionately calls us the street team of Cypher system.
Big thank you to the Monty Good Games Twitch account for posting a link to the Grim World Kickstarter. I'm going to go ahead on a limb and guess that's Darcy behind the wheel. But either way, thank you, whoever's behind the wheel of that account right now, for posting that link and letting people know how many days are left. Definitely be sure to check it out. Yes, Darcy, I knew it. But either way, though, definitely worth checking it out. Again, he was awesome to have him on the show. A plethora of knowledge about, you know, streaming, all his community work and all that stuff. It was definitely awesome hearing his side of, you know, that stuff. And yeah, it definitely helped us going forward.
He's directly involved with a ton of streams. He's involved in WebDM. You know, he has his hand in pretty much everything gaming related. So if you haven't follow him on Twitter. We'll definitely put the links on our YouTube channel. But if you don't know who Grant Ellis is, you should find out soon who he is.
Yes, most definitely. But any final thoughts on Grant before we move on?
Nope, the bad boy of gaming.
Keep it going, my son.
And,
You'll be proud.
So next on our list, we have Megan and Aster Tolentino of Redacted Files and Amber Clave podcasts, and you know they were awesome. Very friendly folks. They put out wonderful work. The Redacted Files. Maybe you guys could talk more about it. I honestly, I'm forgetting details about the podcast.
They have several podcasts. You know, not only do they have several podcasts, Megan and Aster are both content creators in their own right.
Yes.
They have a ton of products as well. Amber Clave podcast is the first Numenera podcast that I actually got hooked on. You know, so I was super excited when they hit me back when I, you know, asked them to be interviewed. You know, they're just a awesome group of individuals. They do great work, and you should definitely check them out.
And yeah, we'll be sure to include links when we can. Well, definitely in the YouTube video. I'd love to take the time to actually get links for now, but definitely check out the description in the YouTube video when that drops.
Right. And Redacted Files drops. They drop videos every week on YouTube and on the. You can catch them on any of the podcast catchers. They like I said, they do great work, and you just definitely listen to them. And now we go to Darcy Ross and Troy Pittman. No, Pickleman, that's what I
don't. Hey, whoa. There's no reason to bring up the past. I mean, I know we're talking about the past, but there's some things we can leave behind.
First off, there would not be a Cypher Unlimited without the Cypher Speak podcast, because I got the whole idea about doing a YouTube channel from listening to Cypher Speak. Point blank, period. Darcy, Troy, you were my inspiration for this whole thing. So, you know, thank you so much.
And I will just say this, that he is not exaggerating. There was a lot of Cypher Speak talk early in Cypher Unlimited's creation, and he was definitely super duper excited when you guys agreed to come on to do our little interview thing, and you guys are just wonderful. You guys are awesome. You talk about fantastic topics on your podcast. Definitely be sure you can link it if you'd like.
And just one of the best well wishes. I know Troy had surgery a couple of months ago, and I hope everything is going well. I hope his health is fine, and our thoughts and prayers are going out to Troy.
Absolutely. And I just need to say to Darcy, Darcy and Troy, that was literally, I was hungry. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do something. I knew I had something to say. And, finding Anthony and Al was just, the gateway. That was my doorway into being able to let it out. I just enjoyed their process with the way they handle approaching subjects, and the fact that there was a conversation. It was always a conversation. It was never just like fact, which I enjoyed, so thumbs up Darcy, thumbs up Troy. You guys are great.
Like we said on our interview with them, your guys are the peanut butter and chocolate of podcasting. So perfect together.
Exactly. And just so for everybody's information, so Darcy will be back next week. She will be on the show. So we're looking forward to that moment as well.
That is right.
Who's next? Who's next on the list?
Dr. Scott Robinson of Cyphercaster magazine. That was a great interview. I have to say, that was the first time you kind of felt like you were in the presence of an ancient sage or something. He had that sagely attitude about him, and it was just very easy. You felt like you're sitting on the porch talking to that wizened old uncle or somebody. It was pretty cool, drinking lemonade and getting some wisdom. So thanks, Dr. Robinson.
And it was definitely nice hearing about the the submissions process, and like having to review things, and how how they got involved with that whole thing. It's always nice hearing like origin stories, or like their mindsets behind when they how they create when you speak to a creator. It's always awesome.
It's also we should also mention that Dr. Scott Robinson has his own podcast as well, Incantations, and it's a Invisible Sun podcast. It's excellent. If you haven't listened to it, you really should. They do great work on that podcast as well. And I think Scott was the first person that actually opened this up to like the bigger Cypher community. We got to meet Danny Neri through Scott, and and the whole Cyphercaster family. They're just great people, and both times we went to Gen Con, they've been nothing but supportive to us, and you guys are awesome. And they just released. Did they release a issue about a month and a half ago as well?
Right.
We'll put the link on our YouTube channel for that as well. Cyphercaster magazine is a great resource.
Excuse me. Most definitely. But yeah, I think we can move on with the list.
Yep.
So yeah, the next on the list we had a group interview of Lee, Mark, and Zim of Lawful Stupid RPG, and those guys were fantastic to talk to. They put on a Twitch show, I believe. I forget the exact. A couple of Twitch shows. Again, I'm bad at the title stuff.
Lawful Stupid RPG.
Yeah, Lawful Stupid RPG. They stream about 5 days a week. They run Cypher System, 5E, AD. They run Torg. They so many different games, and I think the one thing I got from them was they're international. They're based in England, and they broaden our horizons, and we got to like understand the differences between American gaming and gaming overseas, and
just how to approach things.
Yeah, I still talk to Lee, probably bi-weekly, and he's a great resource, and they're nothing but great guys at Lawful Stupid RPG.
And yeah, that will be sure to include a link to their stuff down below as well on the YouTube video, because definitely worth checking out.
Next on our list, Dan Gaston of Variant Rose. What can I say? What an awesome person! What an awesome GM! what an awesome channel. They run so many different games. When we were researching to interview him, I was like, oh, hey, let me watch a couple of episodes, and I was hooked. Everything they do is like top-notch quality. Dan is just a great person, a great human being. I can't say enough nice things about Dan.
Yeah, definitely does awesome stuff. I feel like I interacted with him recently on Twitter about something, but don't
Yeah,
recall.
he's always on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's always on the Discord as well.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, he's definitely posting stuff all the time, especially linking his when they go live with their stuff. And definitely worth checking out.
And all I like to say, I love Dan. He said it wasn't his line, but it still was perfect. He's a be gay, do crime. That was awesome. And now it has grown. And there were tons of other things about it. But Dan he's got a great vibe about him. There's something calming but yet creative and dynamic. So it's really cool to have a conversation with him or discuss an idea or a concept. We really appreciate you, Dan. Really appreciate you coming out and hanging out with us.
Next up,
none other than a good friend of mine, which is funny. I knew this guy before I met you guys, but Jesse, Doc Palindrome Edmond of the Lounge Podcast. Doc and I have recorded 3 or 4 different podcasts that have never been released, I don't think, talking about superheroes and stuff, because anybody who knows me knows that I have this ridiculous passion for superheroes and kung fu movies. Those are, they run neck and neck. I don't know which one I love more, but Jesse and I will talk about this stuff. We've talked about so many different aspects of the superhero idea and idiom, how you approach it in various games and so on and so forth. This guy is a plethora of knowledge. He is he's literally like, an encyclopedia, just ask him a question and he's got an answer, and he's never at a loss to give you something, or a perspective. So
all I'm gonna say about Doc is that we emulated his structure and format for our interviews. So thank you for that, Doc. We love you, Jesse.
Yeah, most definitely. And it was really nice, being involved in the interview again. I don't know many people, or I'm like the least knowledgeable person about anything. But it was very nice watching Dean and Jesse interact and talk, and it was like watching 2 old best friends catch up, on the interview and off camera, before we started recording and after we recorded, and it was just really nice. But yeah, I think we're gonna move on the list.
Yeah, go ahead, Al.
So next guy on the list we got is a good friend of ours. We met him at Gen Con 2 years ago, I believe. Not the last one, but the one before that one. Yeah. But Eric Frankhouse of Eric Frankhouse Presents, and a super awesome guy. We talked to him a little bit online before actually meeting him. I honestly, again, I don't know anybody or anything. But when we met him, there was he was just such a chilled, laid back. I wasn't expecting him to be as laid back, or I don't know what imagery I had of him in my mind, but he's just such a it's hard to put words to describe this dude.
He's first of all, he's a multiple INGM winner at Gen Con. Phenomenal choreographer, and just a guy you want to have a beer with.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. That's a good way to put it.
Eric, anytime, anywhere. We love you, Eric. And check out his podcast as well, Eric Frankhouse Presents. And he's been on a couple of our actual plays. He was in our Star Wars one-shot that we did with Marlowe House.
But, so super awesome guy.
And next in line is David S. Deere of Ninth World Gaming. Eric, I'm sorry.
Ninth World.
I'm jumping the gun. Excuse me. Let me back up. Eric, my man, we just got to game some more, because I'm going to tell you, the game with Eric is a lot of fun. He's a dynamic GM. He's also one massively talented creator, whether it's in his photography or game-wise. He's done some great stuff for Cypher System with his mech idea phenomenal stuff. I got to play test it for him. Me and Al, as a matter of fact. So yeah, so that's going on, and now I'll introduce David S. Deer, Night Road Journal podcast, which again was another one of those situations where you know what, we just got to sit back and get a perspective. You know, this is a guy who runs a Ninth Road Journal podcast as almost a one-man show.
Yep. Which
is amazing, you know, because he does the voices, he does the acting, but he tells his great story, you know, and that just, I'm impressed, you know.
Yeah, Ninth Road Journal podcast, if you hadn't heard it, all you got to do is like turn off the lights and just put headphones on, and it's like you're listening to a movie.
Audio book, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, I couldn't recommend it enough. David is such a great guy.
Super friendly guy. I really enjoyed talking with him.
All right, next up, I didn't realize we had so many people we interviewed, so we're going to kind of rush through this a little bit. But Ari, Emily, Haley, Thomas, and Kyle of Quest Friends podcast, they have one of the most hilarious Numenera-based podcasts out there, and they just fun people to be around. If you watch that interview, we're just laughing for an hour straight. You know, and it's an awesome group of friends, and it actually shows. You could see the friendship when you listen to their podcast. They do a great show.
And I think they're the only ones we where during sound checks and like mishaps, I recorded some, and I still have them on my computer, I believe. I don't think I deleted them, but we have like little bloopers or whatever have you. Like specifically, I remember they were pretending to play a trumpet or saxophone or something. And, I should definitely get around to like looking at those and like clipping them together. I know it'd be a short thing, but I think that'd be funny to release.
Maybe we should release our bloopers.
But yeah, let's keep it moving on the list. So next we have Michael Hunt of Unmade Gaming, and he does a ton of stuff. I believe they do charity stuff as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
they do a lot of stuff. Yeah.
I just want to touch on Michael was so gracious. You know, when we contacted him, we were relatively small. We didn't have many. And he was so helpful. Not only did he do the interview, and this is the interview that we had a ton of technical difficulties. I don't know if you remember this, but I kept on cutting out. And, you know, after the interview, he still stood back like a half an hour and gave us advice and told us. He gave us advice on Twitch streaming. And, you know, he does so much good work. You know, I can't say enough nice things about Michael. And Unmade Gaming, you know, that's just a phenomenal.
Right, and they do all the extra life stuff, and they do regular charity views and stuff like that. But Anthony's absolutely right. Michael is awesome, you know. So, and like I say, we're going to keep it moving. So, of course, never, least at all. But Andrew and Monica Marlowe of Marlowe House. I met Monica at Gen Con for the first time, actually the year before, in 2018. And I don't even remember exactly what it was, but I just remember that she came up and we ended up having a conversation, and she was on a panel. That's what it was. And I said something in the panel, and we ended up talking about an hour after the panel. But Monica's also a winner of what's it called, Anthony?
She won the Paizo. Oh, I forgot what it's called.
Paizo All-Star Creator Program or something like that. Yeah. She won, which is awesome, and she's created plenty of content. You know, and they have a great stream as well.
Yes.
So check them out if you get a chance.
Andrew, in the last year or so, has become a great friend of mine. I absolutely love Andrew and Monica, and they're actually they started a Jade Colossus Twitch stream next week, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're gonna run the entire Jade Colossus. It's gonna be awesome. If you haven't ever seen any of Andrew's streams, he's an excellent GM, and they just all around wonderful people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we can keep moving with we had I'm sorry if I butcher any names because I'm bad at pronunciation, but we got Alex Lepera, Pete Sauber, and our own fabulous Charlotte Irgang, again, sorry if I butchered any of these names, of Raven Desk Games, the people who make Vert, who made Vert. And they also put on several, I don't know if they put on one or multiple Twitch shows centered around Vert. But yeah, it definitely was awesome hearing about, their creative process into like converting a novel into a Cypher system setting. And then they have an awesome setting. Be sure to check that out. Vert. It's like a cyberpunk setting, right? Again, I'm not too knowledgeable.
For some reason, I think that anybody that's listening to the stream knows what Vert is.
Yeah.
If they're members of our server, that setting gets talked about constantly. Awesome guys. We met them at Gen Con 2 years ago, and they've been nothing but supporters to us. And we've been, Shar has been Shar.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the guys from Rule of Lore. These guys are awesome. Based out of
Jake is in the
Seattle.
Jake is in the chat right now.
Jake Lucas, and I always forget what is his name. He's got a great name, and I always forget. Down on it. My redhead buddy. You know what I'm talking about. But these guys are awesome. They run a great show from over in Seattle, I believe.
Yep.
And these guys are awesome too. They got a great passion and a great love for the system, and it's really good when somebody tells you you've inspired them to do something or giving them a little guidance. Because then what you're doing is worth something.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say the Rule of Law guys. We got to hang with them last year at Gen Con. I actually stumbled on the Twitch stream and found it so entertaining and hilarious. I contacted them and they jumped on the show for an interview. The great guys.
And yeah, it was definitely very fun chatting with them. And then it was also very heartwarming, heart touching. I'm bad at words again. To hear that we kind of like inspired, their push to do stuff, and they're being inspired by our community work or whatever have you. Sorry, I'm bad with details. But again, it was very, very, very nice to hear.
We love you guys. Next on our list is the legend himself, Jeff D of Monkey House Games and Uni Games, but more importantly, he's been an artist in early D&D since the beginning of time. Jeff D has been around forever in gaming, and when Dean hooked up this interview, I was like a little kid excited on Christmas Day. Jeff D has always been one of my heroes, so it was great to sit down and talk to him.
I geeked out so bad. I'm normally good. I'm normally not the guy with the stars in my eyes, but it was just crazy. I was back in 1982 when I got my hands on Villains and Vigilantes for the first time, and to have Jeff D on the show and to communicate with us and everything. And it was crazy because when I was setting the interview up, I was fine. We were talking and back and forth, no big deal, but got him on the show, man. I was just like,
and I'm very upfront about my lack of knowledge or whatever have you. Like, I didn't really know much about him coming up to the interview. We talked about him. We always talk about our interviewees, but just talking with him and the stories he had to share, it was there. Like one of it, that the story he told was like when we asked you, how do you, what's the best, what's your secret to like making it into business or whatever. I forget what the exact question was. It was like have a time machine, go back to when they started, and just be persistent like that. I still remember. I still laugh about it, as you can see. That was such a funny answer to that question. Like,
he's still our most watched interview to this day.
Yeah.
So, who's next on the list?
Rich Lescafure, Brian Dalrymple, and Alligator Alley Entertainment, the guys who brought us Esper Genesis for 5E. Also good friends with Gonza. He worked on that particular project as well. But this was another really cool interview because, you're dealing with content creators and people who are passionate about the systems and the games and just the community in general, not the whole concept of gaming. It wasn't just because they were 5E or whatever. It's just a great group of guys.
Yeah, they're just awesome. And, thank you, Chris, for setting that up. Gonza, you're the man on this one. All hail Lord Gonza. Anybody that's on the server knows what we're talking about with that.
Yeah, it's sort of an inside joke. But yeah, those guys were definitely a lot of fun to talk to. It was definitely fun hearing about, what you call it, the 5E side of things, where we normally don't talk to people who make, like 5E stuff. Yeah, stuff. So but it was actually nice, getting that side of, how hard it was or whatever have you for them. Again, I don't know if you guys mentioned it. Again, I'm blanking out, but the art in the book is phenomenal. And as Esper Genesis is an A+ book, just gorgeously laid out. It's awesome. But I think that will bring us down to our last most recent interviews, where we got to interview some.
Technically, I know I wrote the list. It's not the most recent.
No, I'm not saying the most recent. I'm just saying this group of people, like our most recent interviews have been from.
I would say no if you look at the list, but the reason why I put them last is because.
Oh, okay, got you.
We're a Cypher Unlimited server.
Yeah, you're right.
Boys. And these are the Monty Cook Games people that graced us with their presence, and we're so happy to have them on there. First up on this list, probably my favorite interview, Sean K Reynolds. Oh man, Sean, he just gave us so much knowledge, and he made me laugh so hard. Sean was an excellent person to interview, and we'd love to have you back on. But Sean K Reynolds from Monty Cook Games, thank you so much.
Sean K Reynolds, I remember Sean from all of his other works, as well, when he, was writing for 3-5 and, and things like that. But Sean K Reynolds was the first person I met at Monty Cook Games, because when I joined the asset team, he was doing Darcy's job, and he was like this massive, dense, creative thing, well, that you could just dip into it. He was always helpful, always there, and do things like that. Sean, awesome. Thank you so much for your guidance, your friendship. We here at Cypher Unlimited truly appreciate you beyond measure.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun hearing about a little bit about the upcoming books. Again, I'm blanking on titles. I know he's writing one of the supplements.
Stay Alive.
Stay Alive. How do you forget Stay Alive?
Yo, just lay off. But let's move that on the list. Again, I'm gonna probably butcher the pronunciation of the last name, but Bear Whiter. Yeah. From Monty Cook Games, the art director there. Very nice getting to hear his side of things and how he, recruits artists. Gave us little tidbits of advice for artists looking to show their work to other, prospective clients or something like that.
Yeah, he gave excellent advice, by the way.
Yeah, and as someone who's married to an artist, it was because I kind of know how artist stuff is. Like, I've been to artist alleys, like I've been a part of like the selling process and stuff like that. But it was really nice hearing the side of of the more professional side of hey, you want to show your portfolio to people, to companies, so on and so forth. This is how you do that. And again, it was super awesome. It was super informative.
My favorite part of the Bear interview is when he told us the stories about going to China before the Invisible Sun was done, and sitting in a room trying to fit all the pieces into the black cube. I thought that was awesome. It was like, he sat there for a day trying to make everything fit like a jigsaw puzzle. And I could just picture him sitting in some random room in a Chinese warehouse, like a horror movie, like The Box that we streamed a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, there you go. He was in the box making the box.
Oh yeah, definitely a super great interview.
Yeah, and just like everybody else in Monty Cook Games, Bear's been nothing but supportive, and we love you, Bear.
And last but not least, never least, just happened to look over on Twitter, and Bruce Cordell from Monty Cook Games with the upcoming Stars Are Fire supplement toolkit setting for Cypher system. And he's got a copy of it in his hand in the picture, which is pretty doggone awesome.
Yeah, so that cover art.
Yeah, the cover art for those series of books is unreal. Bruce was just so much fun, and it was like it's funny that Bruce was on, and it was just like another person who seems to it seems like everybody who's into gaming is some sort of scientist or some sort of tech head. It's so funny. Sean talking about his background, Bruce his background, Bear, everybody. So Bruce was so much fun to have on, and it was just one of those interviews that you could do over and over again. We could have talked to him for hours.
Yeah, I could have sat down and just absorbed all the knowledge that Bruce was giving, all the jewels he was dropping. We could have talked to Bruce for multiple hours. I would have been a happy camper.
Yeah, it's always. I mean, I think that goes for like anybody we've interviewed. Like, it's just so awesome talking to people who are passionate about the thing that they're doing or the stuff that they create. And honestly, again, I keep saying this, I'm like the least knowledgeable guy. I don't really like know much about anything. But one thing I do know is passion. Like, and it's awesome seeing that passion again in other people who are creating the things that they're making. And again, even if I may not know too much about it, it's just awesome seeing what goes into it. Again, that level of passion, and again, it's just wonderful getting to put faces to names and stuff like that. That's another really fun part about these interviews.
And I know Dean spilled the beans earlier, but we have Darcy Ross coming on for Monica Games next week. Dean jumped the shark. Oops. But we have Darcy Ross from Monica Games coming on next week. Darcy's in the chat. It's going to be an awesome. She's our second time coming on. It's going to be an awesome conversation. We're going to try to write some good questions to maybe stump her a bit, hopefully. And please tune into that. We're probably going to do it live on Twitch and then carry it over on the YouTube. But that's the end of all the interviews we did. If you haven't seen any of these interviews or if any of them interest you, please go to our YouTube channel and check them out. Especially the Monica Game interviews. Hopefully, we'll pressure Darcy next week to get some other people from Monica Games. There's a couple of names that we hoping to eventually get on the show.
Exactly.
Most definitely. Those would be super awesome, but, there's always the future.
Yeah. So we kind of getting towards the end, but first we're going to take some questions from you guys, and we have a couple of prizes we want to give away. But the first thing I just want to ask, my two brethren here is, what does Cypher Unlimited mean to you? And, if you have any stories or memories you want to share with the people listening about the CU.
Me? All right, yeah, I guess I'll go first. Yeah. So, so Cypher Unlimited means to me, it means community. Like, honestly, like, just watching the community grow up from my idea of, it's going to be 20 people, just playing Cypher System to this big old thing that it's become. Just that in itself is the story I want to share. Like, again, just in my head, I thought it was going to be maybe 15, 20 people. Like, we all enjoy Cypher System. It's fantastic, whatever. We play games together. But it just blew up over the course of that first year, just in such an insane way. And the biggest memory I have from it was just all the support we got from Monica Games along the way. Never in a million trillion years would I have expected the company of the game that we play to actually have a hand in helping us form the community in which we were. And that in itself is still, it's insane to me. Like, even today, it's still insane to me that you guys are such an awesome company to support in the way that you have. And it warms my heart.
And for me, Cypher Unlimited is another family. Al, you and Anthony truly, for anybody who knows me, some people who've known me for a long time know I'm an opinionated person. They also know that I things that I'm passionate about, that I will talk about and I will promote and I will push. I've been told many times over that, I should get a job in marketing or something because of the way I push things that I enjoy. But the other thing that is that this group or this community is for me has been you guys have been an inspiration. You know, I've actually started writing and putting out my content. You know, I'm always getting ideas. Something is always blooming on the edge. And I got to say thanks, guys. You know, and I got to say thank you to the Cypher Unlimited community as well, because you also embraced my ideas, embraced my work. Um, you know, for me, it was humbling the day I looked on Drive Through RPG and I had the number one selling superhero supplement. You know, that was just, you know, I was like, wow, I did that. You know, and it inspired me even more so. Um, and then you know the Monty Cook games. You know, Sean, Bruce, Shauna, Monty, Bear, Darcy, you know, Tammy and Charles, you all have become, you know, very much household names around here. My wife remembers everybody. She talks about you guys. And it really, it's just a great thing. So thank you.
You guys have any memories you want to share? Anything from the CU that
I mean, I'll share a funny story. I guess it's kind of a memory, but it's an ongoing memory because it still happens. But someone who joined fairly early in Cypher Unlimited life was someone by the name of Spoopy or Cass, and she was instrumental in the organization of the Discord server because she handcrafted Newman for us. And if you're unaware, if you haven't been on the server, Newman is our server bot. They handle room creation, room management, dice rolling, role assignment, all that stuff that you need on a Discord server. And she created it from scratch for us, and it's awesome, super awesome. It rolls the dice to what is it, Numenera Cypher system rules, and it's awesome. But the funny story here is, every now and then she'll just tell me or remind me, in quotes, mind you, is like, I think this is going to be a small community or something. Because that's something I said to her early on. I was like, I don't think this is going to get too out of control growth-wise or too big or anything. I think it's just going to be a small little community. And every now and then she'll just be like, she'll quote like the members count at me like 2,000, whatever. Small community, huh? Like, and it's just funny to see that it's gotten so big, like so crazy. But that's it. It's just a funny ongoing thing.
I think. Oh, go ahead, Dean.
I was just saying, I think my funniest memory here it has to be with you, Anthony, because
I'm everyone's funniest memory. I'm that kind of guy.
No. I'm just saying. I just remember because, you know, what I find funny is that other people who see us interact have always think like we're fighting about something. But
I tell everybody, I'm the little brother. And it's my job to aggravate the older brother. That's just how our dynamic is.
But it's funny because we're never fighting, and that's what people don't get. It's always like, no. So that's just my thing. And I've always thought me and you were like going at it. As everybody knows, there's nothing but love here.
It's the Napoleon complex. I want to be better than my brother, but it's like an impossible task because he's a freaking genius, and I love the guy. We argue for the sake of arguing. Let's
basically, and it's not really an argument because it's always. You see how he's smiling? He's always smiling. I'm always smiling, and we're like blah 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 blah.
And I'm just the guy who sits there and just has to take it.
Al normally is the one who diffuses.
Like guys, we gotta move it along.
For me, I think Cypher Unlimited means friendship, and there's so many people that I didn't know 2 years ago, and now I consider the best of friends. I want to give like two examples. I'm going to someone's wedding that I met on the server in a month and a half, and I felt so honored to even be invited to his wedding. But for him to consider me a friend that we just met online playing Monty Cook games, your guys are just awesome. And the other memory I want to give is when we hit 500 members on the server and we did a raffle. And I just remember the memory of me and Al sitting there with a hat with everyone's name on it, and we were pulling the names out.
Handwritten.
Yeah, yeah, handwritten, and how everyone was so excited, and we spoke. After the raffle, it was literally like 2 weeks of everyone, high fiving each other. Oh, you won this! That was awesome. Oh, everybody was so happy for, even if they didn't win, they were still congratulating the people that did. And that's just a testament of how great of a community you are, and how great Monty Cook Games is to foster that type of atmosphere where everyone is so supportive of each other. We're very lucky to have not only a great game to play, but a great company that embraces all its fan base. And I can't put it into words, but
yeah, I was just gonna piggyback off that and just off your story. But that's another big story for us, because the company that makes the game that we love and made a little community for, they were giving us stuff to give away. Like that in itself, that was mind blowing. Like, damn, they support us to the point where they're giving us stuff to give away to this community. And again, it happened again with the next raffle. It's happening again at the end of this one. Like, it's insane the amount of support we get. It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
All right, so that leads us into, does anybody in the audience, you guys have any questions for us? Is there anything you guys want us to answer? Anything maybe Darcy can answer? Or
yeah, we'll take any sort of, is there a favorite actual player not made it on the show? Did you, so there's a question. Again, I'm not a big watcher of actual play streams, but the question is there a favorite actual play stream that has not yet made it onto the show? I'm guessing as interviewers or interviewees, I should say.
Ooh. Yeah, the obvious answer, even though this is a Cypher system, Critical Role, like, of course, everybody, with selfish reasons, the views on that would, and just to sit down and talk to Matthew Mercer. But there's a ton of people that I would love to get to sit down and talk to. Off the top of my head, I would like to, anybody from Misdirected Mark, I listen to that podcast all the time.
I can make that happen.
You've been saying that for 3 months now, and it hasn't happened.
I got to talk to.
I know who I want to talk to. Gaming and BS. If I would love to talk to the guys from Gaming and BS. They're hilarious. I love their shows.
Dean, who would you?
Someone asked first.
You want to keep? I mean, Dean can say who he wants to be on the show.
Honestly, if we just talking about having somebody in the show, you know what? I'm going to put it out there. We've been talking about it. We've been hitting. I want Monty and Shauna on the show. Look, it's plain and simple.
You stole my answer.
No, honestly, I want everybody to feel that same cool, mellow vibe that Monty brings. Monty is so cool. He's just laid back, and I want everybody to have that experience who has never gotten to meet him. And Shauna's like a fireball. She's like a little spitfire, but it's nothing aggressive. It's nothing mean and nasty. It's just, what? Don't mess with Shauna. And she created Predation. Come on, Al. You know you want that.
So yeah, let me piggyback off that, because that was gonna be my answer, Shauna Germain, because she created Predation, which is my favorite Cypher system setting book. But on top of that, I believe not last year Gen Con, but the one before that, the one I went to. She held a panel, I believe it was called Resilience in Gaming. I could be wrong on the name of the panel, but that panel was so like heartwarming. Like, I actually cried a bunch during the panel, and like afterwards,
I know, because I gave you a tissue. I'll sit right next to you.
And it was very nice, hearing her talk about these things. And I wish I had my notebook right next to me, but she actually wrote it in like you got this, or you got this shit, and she just wrote that in big letters on my in my notebook, and that's my most used RPG notebook, and it's nearing getting full, but I'm trying not to make it too full. I don't want it to be done. You know what I mean? Because that signature's in there. But yeah, that's who I would want on here for sure.
All right, we got a couple of quick questions. Darcy asked, "What are your big dreams for the CU?"
we're already living them. Like, I don't even know what to say about future end goals other than we can keep doing this. Like honestly.
I want to be like some of the other people out there, where I can, leave my day job behind and do this full time. I would love to be able to do this because this isn't work. This is so much. This is therapy. You know what? I work, and my job some days drives me batty. I came in yesterday and I was totally exhausted. I crashed out like 9 o'clock, and just it was just crazy. And now I'm sitting here, at 11 o'clock in the evening, and I'm still wide awake and happy to be doing what I'm doing. So that's my big dream. If we could somehow make this a regular thing, we can make it a little company and just promote Cypher System and play games and create stuff.
My biggest dream is twofold. I want to have like 25,000 members on the Discord server, be the biggest, and spread Cypher System to like every gamer out there. That would be awesome.
That's so many people.
And this one is actually doable because we are going to do it next year. We wrote a game called GM Roulette. I want to have that out as soon as hopefully mid of next year we'll get that done. But yeah, I guess those are my two dreams. But I want everyone that's a gamer to try Cypher System or Numenera or any of the Mighty Cook games at least once. I think that would be my biggest dream.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to do that myself. There's a little game store where I play Smash Brothers, and they're recently starting to like add tabletop gaming stuff and card game stuff.
All right, and this.
Well,
I'm sorry.
He's like, you come out with a bit of a thing, but no, let me just. But they're talking about having demo nights, and I said, I'll be up for doing Cypher System demos. So hopefully, we'll hopefully make something work over there.
Oh, and we'll just say this too: if you guys are doing anything cool Cypher related, hit us up. We want to talk to you. We want to promote you. If you're doing anything that's Cypher related, we're there for you. So, in case if anybody missed it, what was your first Cypher game? That was one of the last questions that was asked.
Go ahead, Al. Answer again.
Wait. Well, my first Cypher game was a zombie game. We'll set in like a reality show, like Big Brother type thing, where we were in a reality show, and then suddenly the producer stopped talking to us or whatever have you, and we had to like escape and figure out what was going on. And Anthony ran that for us at my house in real life, and it was so fun for me and my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law. It was so fun. It was just a super fun experience.
Yeah, it was Big Brother meets Walking Dead.
And my first Cypher System game, probably for the first year, it was Numenera. I ran Numenera. I didn't get to play. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I really did not get to play as a character till I met these guys. I was too busy running. So my first Cypher System game that I played in was Anthony's Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, and it was Gods of the Fall. So it was great to be able to play, and that's something else about this community. I actually get to play sometimes. So awesome.
My first Cypher game, first off, I had Numenera for about a year, and I read the book and was in love with the setting, was in love with the rule set. I just couldn't find any players. Either they wanted to play D&D or I just didn't have a consistent group. But my first experience was Numenera as well, and I played on Roll20. And it wasn't necessarily the greatest experience, but I knew what the system was. Like, I knew that this was some groundbreaking shit. You know what I mean? Just by playing the game. And then I said, then I got a hold of Al, and we just started running our own games. But Numenera was the first game I played, and I had the book for well over a year before I actually got into a game.
So there we go.
Yeah. I think that. Oh, Dean, did you already?
We have some prizes. Do one of your guys want to discuss?
All right, so I'll talk about. You can go.
I was gonna basically tell them we have a question. Monty Cook Games has graciously, gifted us with a gift certificate for the lucky winner. Now the question is a bit of a trick question.
Well, 1 second, Dean, just to.
Okay, go ahead.
So we're gonna ask the question, or I guess Dean's gonna ask the question, and then the first person to answer in the chat is the winner. Correctly, I should say.
Right. So I'm giving you this caveat. It's sort of a trick question, but it really isn't. So whether you give the actual answer or the common answer, you're going to be a winner. Monty Cooks has graciously gifted us with a gift certificate. And if nobody gets the right answer, the person who also gets that gift certificate, I'm going to send you a copy of Unmasked that I have. So we're going to make that a bonus on top of that. If the person, and if somebody else gets the question right, then that person's getting the Unmasked book. Make sense? Okay. So the question is...
Wait 1 second. I just see that one of the viewers, it says network error for them. I just want to make sure that everybody has a chance to, answer the question. Does the stream look okay for everyone else, though? Like, I want to know if it's, like, on his side or our side. Again, I just want to be sure everyone who's watching has a chance to answer the question.
I'll put it in the chat as well.
No, yes. They're saying in chat that it looks good. So I guess it just must be something on Steiner's end. Hopefully, let me just tell him to reset. Everyone else is saying that it looks fine now. So,
all right.
Can't even tag him. So hopefully he's refreshing or something. But yeah, I guess we can go ahead and hopefully he comes back in the next 10 seconds. Because again, I would. Oh yeah, see, he just followed. So hopefully he can now see us.
Good.
I don't know why. Maybe that was messing it up. I doubt it.
All right, so basic gist is that Dean is going to ask a question that has two answers, really, the real answer and a correct answer. If you get either one of those answers, you win a gift certificate. Whoever gets the second answer wins a book.
And if nobody answers the second portion of it, then, you get the book too, if you get the gift certificate. So who was the first guest on Cypher Unlimited on the YouTube stream?
Yep.
The YouTube recording.
First person me and Anthony had on. But yeah, do we have any answers? No answers yet, but so the chat's like, I know. But yeah, again, if no one knows the answer, we got one answer.
Rick Davenport got it right.
That is actually correct. Oh my God! So you get both prizes.
I'm gonna match the gift certificate personally, and I have another question. If someone can answer, what is the most common phrase that everyone replies to when someone first joins the server?
Wait, what? I'm confused with the question.
I know I say it all the time. When there's a new member that joins the server, what's the most common thing that pops up by members?
Oh, we already got it. Make yourself at home.
We already got it.
Boom. All right, so
brilliant loser. Congratulations. I'll match the gift certificate and I'll purchase it and send it to you.
All right, so let's get into a little bit of the specifics. So again, Monty Cook Games was gracious enough to give us a $22 gift certificate to their online store. And again, Rick Davenport, you got that along with Dean's copy of Unmasked because you did get the bonus answer because Dean was technically our first.
Technically, let's just tell them, our first real guess was Chris from Gonza Gaming, but Dean came on as a guest before we actually started doing interviews. He wasn't a member of Cypher Unlimited at the time, so technically he was the first guest on Cypher Unlimited.
Darcy just matched the gift certificate as well, so we got
one more. All right, let me see if I can I think of a question like I can't think of one off the top of my head. You guys got any other ones?
Okay. Anthony asked the most common one. Do you guys know what I normally write when somebody joins the server? What my favorite line is?
That might be too hard to obscure.
I say a lot.
First of all, D rarely welcomes anyone onto the server.
All right, let's
I was
see.
thinking something else. But no, I welcome people.
All right, I'll make
Not because you don't want to, is that you work at those odd hours.
God, no.
Yeah,
all right, wait, no,
yeah.
no.
People were writing no idea.
All right, I got a pretty easy one. Super easy if you know anything about me. Super easy. Super duper easy. Name one movie that I have not seen. Because that's hard to guess if you don't know me. Because there's a lot of movies that people would assume that I've seen, but I have not. Oh, wrong. I actually have seen The Ring. Seen The Ring.
And you already won already, brilliant loser. Stop being greedy.
I actually have seen Star Wars.
What about Friday the 13th?
No, he already won something.
I got a question that's Cypher System related.
All right, go for it.
What's the adventure in the back of the original Numenera?
That's a good question.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Didn't expect to have 3 questions to give.
There's a couple of people flipping through books right now as we speak.
Did you see Crow, though?
Oh, there we go. Boom.
Yeah,
You got
King
it.
Burgundy, you won.
And I have not seen Crawl, no.
Nice.
So there we go. So
All right,
King
so
Burgundy.
to recap our 3 winners. Right, we got King Burgundy.
Yeah, he got the
winning
certificate, the last
Yeah.
certificate. And then we got
Brilliant Loser won my certificate.
yeah, which is Jesus on the server.
Yeah, and who was the first person that won the certificate?
Rick Davenport.
And Rick Davenport won the certificate and the unmasked book.
And Rick Davenport, I don't fully recognize your name. Are you on the Discord server as such? Because odds are we'll reach out to you on Discord to get all this stuff situated. All right, awesome. So that'll be super easy to find you.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
and just contact us. Either send any of us a direct message after the stream. I'll go online and purchase a gift certificate right after this. So I'll give you whatever the code
And
is.
as long as just send me an address and I'll get this in the mail before the weekend.
Yeah, so awesome. I think this has been a fantastic little celebration stream. Guys?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so
Thank everyone for watching.
yeah, thank you guys again so much. It's been fantastic, especially having Darcy here with under the Monty Cook Games Twitch handle. But for anyone who hasn't, please be sure to hit that follow button. Definitely helps with our channel's growth. We're on the way to affiliate. Just got to stream a couple more days. So look forward to maybe another solo stream from me where I make a couple more pre-gens. I did rather enjoy that. So yeah, be on the lookout for a link to that next time I go live. I'll probably make 2-3 more pre-gens while I talk about my process.
If you go live with between now and Saturday, let me know because I can probably be on with you, especially if it's late night.
Most definitely. And of course, be sure to check out the YouTube channel, which I'll post a link right now. Be sure to again subscribe to that channel as well. Helps us out a ton.
Yeah, please, if you can, subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is where we post most of our interviews and we post a lot of our editorial stuff. We're only 10 away from 300 subs, and we, trying to bring that sub count. We're trying to spread that Cypher love. Please help us out any way you can. We truly appreciate it, and we love all you guys.
Yep. Dean?
I'm just saying, hey, love you guys. Al?
I think that'll close us out. Again, a big thank you to everyone who joined to watch. A big congratulations to our 3 winners. And again, a big thank you to Monty Cook Games for providing not 1, but 2 gift certificates. I'm not sure if Darcy is matching as her or as Monty Cook, but either way, the gesture is extremely appreciated. And yeah, we'll work on getting those gifts / prizes to y'all as soon as we can. So keep a lookout in your Discord DMs or hit us up if you don't hear from us. Be sure to follow, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and be sure to look out for the YouTube upload where we'll have all those links of the things that we mentioned during this little stream that we had. Any parting thoughts?
Nope. Just
Give them the good old goodbye.
Special thank you to Monty Cook Games for just supporting us and being awesome. And we'll see you next week, Darcy.
Yep. And yeah, so from us at the CU, we will see you later.